Jason Saulnier.
Lawrence Gowan, how's it going?
All great, Jason. How about yourself?
Pretty good. I'm talking to you, and I mean, what? This is going to be exciting for everybody. You just came to Halifax, let's say in 2023 summer,
Yeah.
and now you're coming with Styx in May. This is incredible.
You know, first of all, it's way too long since I played a Gowan show in Halifax, and ridiculously long since Styx had played one. But when I played that show there last year, I went back to our manager and said, look, we have to play the East Coast again. I mean, the audience was spectacular. They stood in the rain, for that show that I did.
Yeah.
They stood, and it wasn't just a gentle rain either. It was wind was howling, and they hung in for the whole show. And so many people there said, after, it's like, do you think you'll ever come here with Styx? So I was thrilled when I saw the itinerary and manager called us and said, yeah, we're going to do it. So looking forward to it.
Why is it that, let's say, most bands just miss out Halifax or the East Coast? Is it just the weather or just out of the way?
Yeah, usually, okay, so in the case of Styx, it's like we could play in America all year long. We could just, like this year, I played nearly 100 shows there. We'll do probably about 90 of the 100 shows we play will be in America. They could just play there. Once they begin to venture east, right? Instead, they might just go, well, why don't we just go and play England? Yeah, that's kind of what happens. They go, well, if we stay on the plane a little bit longer, we can go and play England. I don't know why they would miss Halifax. It's right up the coast from when we play Boston or we play in Maine. It's right up the coast there. And I really can't give you a good answer for that. I know that one of my disappointing things was I really, really wanted to play St. John's, Newfoundland again, because again, those shows I did last year, I did 2 nights there. Both of them were sold out, and the audience was spectacular as usual. And I really missed the place. And but the reason that we couldn't was that it makes that run of shows just too long, because we need a day to get there, a day to do the show, and then another day in between to make sure that we get the ferry or however the gear is going to get back to the mainland. So there are logistical things that I just had to accept on that score, and then they said we will get to it, but not on this run. So on the bright side, we are also getting to go to PEI, and we're doing Moncton, but Halifax for me was that was a central part of my career since the very beginning. So I'm thrilled that we're coming back there, and I think we're at the Metro Center, right?
Yeah, Scotiabank Center now. So
Scotiabank Center. Because I played the last time I played there. There was Gowan headline there in 1987. So I've never played there with Styx. So I'm really looking forward to just being in the arena again.
And what I think you just did by saying the people tend to go from the East Coast right to England, it kind of makes sense too, because it's like, why not? We can go play a whole different set in Europe.
That's kind of what happens. I mean, not exclusively, quite honestly.
No.
We're not. It's weird that we're not playing Vancouver, but we are doing Seattle. You know what I mean? I'm going to play Vancouver because I'll be out right in Seattle. We have a little break there. I'm going to go up and play a show in Vancouver, just a Gowan show in between the Styx shows. So I'm trying to balance it off, and I'm really, really trying to get this. When I play Vancouver, that'll be me coast to coast. Well, not quite, because I didn't get to Victoria, and I wanted to get there too. But it's just the logistics of it, honestly, Jason. And promoters and managers and all those people, they work out those fine points and decide really what makes sense and what doesn't on any given year.
Lawrence, Atlantic tour and going to Quebec, I've heard an interview of you last month, and it's je ne peux pas parler trop le français, mais je vais en parler un peu. That is very cool.
I understood that. So you speak French?
I speak French, yes. And
that's fantastic.
What you did there in that interview is I think you opened the door that, wow, we have 2 languages here. So Lawrence will be speaking in French at Quebec.
Yeah. Oh yes. All the shows in Quebec. Quand j'ai joué au Québec, chaque fois, j'essaie de parler seulement en français sur la scène parce que pour moi c'est fun et pour les foules c'est plus fun quand j'ai fait beaucoup des mauvais mots.
Excellent. And just by doing that, it puts a lot of people with a big smile.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. And I know when we play in Moncton, I mean, they've got a good Acadian kind of audience there, so I can throw in a couple of phrases there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you were in Halifax, it's there's a lot of French there too. I mean, don't forget
Really?
Nova Scotia.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like Nova Scotia has a French university and everything down here.
I was not. I only know Wow. I've only ever played at Dalhousie, and no, I think that's the only university I ever played down there, actually.
Yeah, so I mean, there are lots of stuff in Nova Scotia, and just it's hard to get outside of Quebec, let's say, sometimes.
Yeah, boy, I enjoyed those days there last year. Such a great city.
Now, Lawrence, is like, how busy is your summer going to be? Because it's like you got Gowan and you got Styx. I mean, it's going to be piling up.
It's absolutely jammed. I mean, with on the summer tour, it's us and Foreigner together. So it's it is that's the blockbuster tour. All we play are the big amphitheaters on that tour. We play. We start off in Grand Rapids, Michigan, then we go Cleveland. I'm just looking at the itinerary right now, Jason. It's so jammed up, and the only week that we take off is the first week of July, and that's why I'm going to go and play Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. Just because I still love doing the Gowan stuff as well, and I as long as I can do it and do it at the level that we were able to perform, I'm very addicted to it. I'd rather go and do that than take days off.
Well, that's very good of you, because I mean the fans appreciate that. I'm sure 100%.
Jason, you gotta. It's not lost on me that these people, people that are out there that have loved either Gowan music or Styx music, Styx have had followers since 1971. So the band is 53 years old. And half the audience on any night is under 40. So they weren't even born when the biggest classic rock albums were made. And yet they love it as much as if they were, concurrent with our own time. And now I've seen the same thing happen with the Gowan shows I've done. People really, really want 80s music back again. They and younger people that, like I say, I just played Massey Hall here just a few months back at the end of last year. And again, half the audience weren't even born when Strange Animal came out, and they know all the words, and they're up jumping around for the songs like people that were there when they were 14 and 15 years old. So to see that and to kind of enjoy that and celebrate that is something I don't want to miss out on.
It's like nostalgia. The youth of today want to see what they couldn't have seen, from the 80s, I guess.
I guess that's it. I think there are a lot of reasons why. I think the songs themselves, the melodic content of them, the lyrics of those songs just speak to people, and they can see themselves in the narrative, I suppose. And it hasn't died out.
Going back on tour with the Styx, let's say Terry Gowan is touring bassist. Now, who is Terry Gowan in the band?
So Terry is my brother, and he was with me since 1985. He was when he first started playing Gowan shows, and he's been in the Gowan band ever since. And in December of last year, we found out that our bassist wanted to pursue other things, that he kind of reached a point where the saturation point, I suppose. And suddenly, when the notion of who's going to play bass with the band came up, Todd Zuckerman, our drummer, he said, "Well, I've done 100 shows with Terry. because Todd has played Gowan shows as well. He said, I've done 100 shows with Terry. He's perfect for the band. So it wasn't even my suggestion. It came from him. And then the other guy said, yeah, we've seen your solo show, and why don't we just bring Terry into the group? So he's been with us. We're going to officially announce him as part of the band, though, when we play in Canada, because after all, now Styx have not one but two Canadians in the band.
Yeah, and two Gowans at that.
And two Gowans, yes. Styx is now 20% more Gowan.
that is incredible. And it's like, let's say when you're playing with Gowan and you got Todd with you.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Styx fans now start saying, I'm going to follow Gowan.
Well, they have, honestly, Jason. They whenever I do a Gowan tour, the front row is usually, the first couple of rows are usually Styx fans that just saw us like a few nights ago, wherever we were. We've had people fly in from like San Francisco, as far as, from Texas, it's amazing how they want to see those shows as well, because they love the whole history of the band and the story of how I came into the band and all those records they've discovered over the years. And it's just that's been a lovely thing to see, quite honestly.
What I find when I ask people, like just the general public, let's say, what's your favorite song of a band, let's say, in any type of band, but they can't remember names of artists or songs. But then when you say, I'm going to go see Styx in Halifax, oh yeah, Styx, oh yeah. And then they say, yeah, Gowan's, the singer of Styx now. Oh, yeah. Gowan, they know the name Gowan because we're Canadian, right? Because it's like, funny. He dominated video hits back in the day.
That's right, absolutely. Video hits, much music, and all that stuff is just that's part of my history for sure. But it's pretty. It's great how people here think that a lot of people here, I'll say that they'll ask me, hey, how did that Styx thing work out for you? And I'm like, I've been doing it now for 26 years. So sometimes they're surprised that I'm still doing the Styx shows, but I've been part of the band for like over a quarter of a century at this point.
And that shows that people stick like with certain errors, meaning like, Gowan's in it that long? Well, it can't be. Yeah. But it is.
I feel bad for them because it's always it's always a reminder of how long we've been on the planet.
Yeah, that too. And let's say when you're touring, I'm sure time passes quickly because it's like you don't have time to think.
You know what's funny, Jason, is on tour, time does very weird things when you're touring. It both expands and contracts. It's almost like Einstein should have studied that as well, because I very often feel like, how can it possibly have been 26 years that I've been with this band when I feel like I just joined, or I feel like I feel like I'm still playing Gowan shows and never joined. It's almost like it's a very odd thing to try to get your head wrapped around it. And then when I come home, everything feels, when I'm back in Toronto, which I am right now, everything feels laid out in a linear fashion where I go, oh, of course, yeah, I've been with the band a long, long time, played nearly 3,000 shows at this point. And, all of the Gowan years, they all slot into place. But once you're on the road moving and you're on a tour bus and you're on an airplane, etc., things take on a funny shape in time. Not unlike when you're on stage and you suddenly feel like you're 15 years old again and you realize the next morning, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is incredible. And it's a question I ask some artists, and it's always the same thing. It's like, wow, yeah, time goes differently when you're on the road.
It's a very odd thing. It's hard to even describe why or what it does. But yeah, it becomes very elastic. Let me put it that way.
At the same time, it keeps you young too, and mainly working your brain. Because look at Keith Richards and them; they're still going at it.
Boy, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, and exactly. To me, the Rolling Stones, they're the goal. I mean, for them to be as great as they still are, after all this time, and people still want to see them in droves. And it just, to me, what it speaks to, Jason, is the fact that if you keep music in your life, age really doesn't have all that much effect on you as long as you're engaged with music. It's amazing how it's the closest thing to magic that I've ever encountered in my time on Earth.
And one last thing, on that subject is like when you are on tour, let's say, you're trying to look your best,
Yeah.
And when you're looking your best, you're trying to eat healthy or do something good, I guess. So it's like it does wonders for you, and everybody.
You're right. Yeah, and you're the first person that's ever brought that up. We talk about there's surprising health benefits to it. I mean, it's funny when you're younger, when you're in your 20s and 30s, it can grind you down to to dust.
Yeah.
But as soon as we started touring in our 40s and 50s and having to confront the realities of time, and now in my 60s, that it's like every day I have to do whatever I can to be as healthy and ready as I can for 8 o'clock every night. And just the pursuit of that naturally puts you in a frame of mind where you have to stay healthy. I got to show up. I got to be able to hit those notes, and I got to be able to, give the people what they're after, which is a great rock show. And luckily, I play in a band, or two bands actually, that have the same attitude. They just don't want to let that audience down ever.
That's very well said. The great Gowan speaks here, and I mean, I'm just happy Styx is coming. I mean, it's been since 1981, the last time Styx came here.
Oh, jeez. I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, so time is not good on that one.
Okay, well, we gotta make up for a lot of lost time.
Yeah, according to setlist.fm, the website. So yeah, it's I do believe it's correct.
They usually are, actually.
Yeah, it is pretty spot on. Lawrence is like that Sunday, May 19th. I'm going to be seeing at Scotiabank Center, and you're going to be rocking out with Styx. That's going to be incredible.
We're looking forward to it, Jason. I'm glad you're coming to the show, and great talking to you.
Hey, man, you have a good one, and have an awesome tour.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to the East Coast.
All right, see ya.
Maritimes.
Yes.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye now.